Hello everyone, Royce here and welcome to our channel Sansevieria 101. So for this episode, we're going to feature a Sansevieria species known as dhofarica. So formally it is Samurai Salaf, and this is a variegated version. It has been sick, but it's okay now. It's just that it was placed in a location wherein it doesn't like. So what happened was there are a lot of damage to the plant, especially the one that I am showing you. Since this is a variegated type, the variegations are the first one to suffer. So as you can see, it's dhofarica. And move back a bit so you can see. Also, this part here has been burned by it was having a sunburn. That's why I mentioned that the location where you put it is very important, because if it gets too much sun, it will have burns, and the yellow parts actually are burns from this plant, and too much rain will also make it rot. So actually this already has an offset. So this is the offset actually. The offset grew large. The only problem is that too much rain made the longer leaf rot, so I had to cut it. I'm going to give you one tip with regards to growing Sansevieria, and while we move around, I will be explaining what it is. So this Sansevieria dhofarica will be repotted, or perhaps I will be planting it directly on the ground, wherein most of my Sansevieria dhofarica species are doing well. So we'll move into another spot. It's large actually, so later on I'll perhaps make a separate clip wherein I'll have Andres help me out, carry it on that to that location, and then you'd see how big it is, and we'll check the location where we are going to transfer it. That's blue perotii. That's rarer compared to the normal one. That's just the green perotii. So one of my largest plants. So we're going to move. These are also larger ones. Hybrid katana. It has grown in a colony. There's another one there. It's quite large as well. Most of them. This rack is actually about 3 feet or 4 feet. I'd say 5 feet rack from that. So this plant over here is Sansevieria SP Sansevieria, and you'd see that it's over 5 feet in terms of height. So we're going to move forward. I also have downsy eye here. I'm trying to grow it tall as I can. It's right now it's about 3 feet in length, 3 feet, and then I'm hoping that it would be as tall as that. So I'm trying to control how it grows, because it's the top is very heavy, so I had to tie them up with a rope. This is Sansevieria Special, and we're closer to where we are going to plant the variegated dhofarica. Alright, so here is actually my dhofarica clump. So it is planted directly to the ground, and it has a natural feel to it, because in the wild they would grow really as such. So what we're going to do is we're going to remove the non-variegated dhofarica, and then we'll put the variegated dhofarica on here, because the dhofaricas here are not getting sick. So as you can see, I'll focus on the leaf of the plant, and you would not see any sickness on them. and this is where we are going to transfer the variegated dhofarica. So folks, stay tuned as we will be making steps into replanting the variegated dhofarica with the non-bar in here so that they could grow it could grow healthier than it's growing. All right, so folks, I'll be back, and I'll be including a separate video for the replanting of that specimen. Okay, folks, so I had to come back and get the variegated dhofarica so we can have it transferred to the location where my colony of non-variegated dhofaricas are. So I had to ask for Andres to carry the pot closer to where we're going to transfer the variegated dhofarica. It's quite a large specimen. As you can see, Andres is having a hard time trying to carry it with all the plants at the side, him being careful not to damage the big dhofarica as well. So the dhofarica is almost as large as the body of Andres. So what we're going to do now is put the pot down, and then we have to loosen the potting mix because I think it's already root bound. If not, then we have to check if the root system has rotted. So what I'm doing right now is I'm poking the sides of the concrete pot so that we can remove the roots that are sticking on the pot itself. So I have also prepared the large container where we are going to transfer all that potting mix because I don't want to just throw it away. I don't want to be I want to make use of the potting mix because I have so many plants that I have to repot, so I don't necessarily throw away the media or the potting mix for my Sansevieria. So as you can see, I prepared the container so that we can just dump over the soil mix or the potting mix of the variegated dhofarica. So in this situation, I was able to remove the big variegated dhofarica, and as you can see, I'm showing it to you. That's how large it is, almost as thick as my arm or my wrist, and that is the offset of the variegated dhofarica that had a damaged leaf. So unfortunately, it was already a long leaf, and it started rotting, so I had to cut it down, and what's left of it is just the small or the first leaf that sprouted. So but no matter, in time it will look okay because it will still grow as much leaf or leaves as it can when it's transferred to its new location. That's what I am guessing, or I am expecting, because all the dhofaricas that are already planted on that location are growing healthily, and they are very, very large as of the current. So right now, what's left of that concrete pot is being dumped over the container. Later we'll make use of it. And then that's one of the problems using the concrete pot, is that over time they will be brittle, and some parts of it, especially the topmost portion, has cracked due to our handling. So it's not easy to replant the variegated dhofarica, especially that it is planted with a concrete pot. So the concrete pot are usually the pots I use because I find them good in growing Sansevierias. They hold a large volume of potting mix, so the Sansevierias have more room to grow. I could have used plastic, but I'm not really into plastic right now. I am though, because it's easier to remove plants from plastic pots. So in this video, Andres is already preparing to plant the variegated dhofarica. So what he's doing is removing the rocks that we put on top of the soil. We always do that. That is because it has a lot of purposes. One is we water our plants. We're heavy waterers, or we water heavily. So each time we do that, the potting mix would float if there are no rocks on top of it. Another one is that when the Sansevieras are newly planted, they will help balance the plant so that they could normally be positioned as they would normally be when they're growing in the wild. So what Andres is doing right now is he's still removing stones, and he will be removing some dhofaricas that are growing excessively in there, especially the middle part, because I'm planning to plant the variegated dhofarica in the middle part of that area. I have also planted some leaf cuttings on there, and they just grew. So I think that is I forgot what the Sansevieria is. It was a hybrid, I think. I think it's Nalika. That's the hybrid that I planted in there. But I told Andres to just remove everything on the middle part, and there's actually some growing on very close to the wall. We'll leave it as such, and then I'll wait for Andres to finish digging a deeper hole for us to replant the variegated dhofarica. So as you have noticed, all the dhofaricas on there are quite large, but there are some dhofaricas that I have noticed and encountered, especially on the posts that are posted by my fellow collectors. They are huge dhofaricas, as huge as your 12-year-old child. So that's how the dhofaricas or that's how they can grow. So that's how large they can grow. That's what I'm trying to say. So right now, Andres is still trying to dig a deeper hole for our variegated dhofarica to join the clump. So what I'm expecting is for the variegated dhofarica to grow healthily as well, together with the non-variegated dhofarica, because this location does not receive intense sunlight. It does not. It's not exposed to heavy rains, so it's quite sheltered. It will receive some rain, but not to the extent of having flooded or something to that extent. So still, Andres is still trying to dig a deeper hole, because like you mentioned, the dhofarica that we are going to transfer there is also a large specimen, but the ones that are already present on there are larger than what we are going to transfer. So I guess in a bit, Andres will be done digging for the variegated dhofarica. Also, later on, I will be discussing the difference between the variegated dhofarica and the non-variegated dhofarica that is going to be planted on there. And I have observed that the variegated dhofarica is actually lighter in coloration compared to the ones that are already planted on there. So it might be that they were collected in different locations. One might be the Lavranos 432 or 4328, and the other would be the Lavranos 6286. I'm guessing that the 6286 is the lighter dhofarica. So they're actually found in dhofar, but in different location within dhofar. So that's what I'm trying to tell you. The older one is what you would usually find in the market, so that must be the first one that was found. I guess I can put that information later on. Lab 4328 was the first one to be found, then followed by Lavranos 6286. So the first one is the most common in the market, which is the darker one, and then the latter must be the lighter complexion, dhofarica. Like I'm saying, it's dhofarica because they were named according to where they were found, which is in Dhofar region in Africa. And going back to what we're doing, Andres is actually prepping the soil mix, and then we will be transferring in a bit. We will be transferring our variegated dhofarica. We just need to prepare the potting mix. We have added some more compost on there to add more inorganic material to the already to the soil that was already taken out of that spot. So we're trying to add compost, nothing more, some pumice as well. And I think there are lesser pumice. Normally I would be putting a lot of pumice on there, but we are in limited resources with regards to our pumice. So it's mostly the soil that was taken out plus the compost of about 2 gallons or two big pails that was added to that container. So we're done actually filling in the soil back, and then the variegated dhofarica is already positioned. And as you can see, the variegated dhofarica is lighter in complexion, like I said. And later on, there will be a clip wherein I'll be making a video at the end part, and then compare the one that we have planted, the variegated dhofarica, in comparison to the already existing dhofaricas that are on this area. So I guess in a bit, Andres will be done, and I guess he's very tired and doing the labor of transferring the variegated dhofarica. And I just hope that in the future we will be able to grow the variegated ones as healthy as we have already grown the non-variegated dhofarica. So I guess in a bit we'll just wait for Andres to fill out or put back the stones on the area that we have planted. And like I said, it's useful to put the newly planted dhofarica in place, stabilize its position, and then it will keep the soil mix intact, as well as in the future when we watered, the composition of the soil mix would not float when we overwater it. And I guess Andres is already done putting back the stones. Also, another thing, we put stones on top of the soil, so that's to deter cats from digging, because there are always stray cats in the yard. So if they see bare soil, what they do is they dig and they poop on there. So we're trying to avoid that situation. So for us, in my experience, putting rocks on top of newly planted Sansevierias, even if they're already planted for years, I don't remove them. It doesn't bother the plant at all. It's very useful for us. So I guess Andres is already done, and in a bit we'll be showing another clip to end the content. Alright folks, so we're done replanting the Sansevieria species called dhofarica. or otherwise known as samurai Salaf, and they grow kind of very big. Also, we've placed rocks on the top soil to make the plant stable, and also I'm observing that the variegated dhofarica that I have is kinda lighter in complexion. They're lighter green in color compared to the other specimens that I have, or the colony of Sansevieria dhofarica that I have, which is non-variegated. So this is the colony, and they're pretty large in actuality. So if you've seen Andres working on it, planting the variegated dhofarica on this side, it's actually close to the fence, and they're growing very healthy in this spot, because I would know if they're not healthy and they don't want the location where you have planted them or placed them. They would be burned by, or they can be easily burned by sunlight. So these are the results of the burn of the sunlight. Also, that leaf over there was severely burned and then had infection, so I had to do some preemptive first aid to stop that. Also, this pup should have had grown larger or longer, but the leaf rotted away because of too much rain. So this specimen of dhofarica is actually pretty sensitive to the changes in climate. So too much sunlight would burn the leaves, and too much rain would make the plant rot, or the leaf of the plant rot in your care. So fortunately, I tested and I told you that one of the tips that I will share is that if you're planning to grow variegated ones, grow the non-variegated first and test where they would grow nicely, or they would like to grow, because Sansevieras, when they like where you have planted them, or they like the location where you position them, they will grow very large and healthy. They wouldn't have any sickness, but you can't really avoid that pest would really go after them, especially my clump. There are aphids on them, so I'll have to dose this colony again with systemic pesticide, because it's very hard to clean them manually, especially if the pests are hiding in the crevices of the Sansevieria plant. So going back, we have successfully planted the variegated dhofarica. As you can see, the shape are the same, although the complexion of this other specimen that I have, which variegated, is lighter in coloration. So I would say that there are two types of Sansevieria dhofarica that were found in the wild. So I'm not sure if the lighter color is a difference in the type location where they were collected, but what I'm showing you right now is much the same as what I have already planted here. So this is how the dhofarica leaf tip looks like. I'm sorry, it's I'm having a problem trying to focus it. There you go. So as you can see, the leaf tips will always be the same for if they're the same species. So there you go, they're the same, but the only difference is the complexion of the specimen. So I'm guessing that they were collected in different locations in Africa. That's why they have some minor differences with them, but nonetheless they're the same species. So folks, this is it, and that was the tip that I gave you. First, try out with the non-variegated, because the variegated ones are pretty expensive. So if they get sick or rot, so it's a big loss for you because they're pretty expensive compared to the non-bar. So if the non-bar or non-variegated ones are already growing nicely, then you could conclude that location is good in growing that type of species. So not all Sansevierias can grow in one spot. Some of the species have different needs or different parameters of growing, so you have to watch out for that. Others would easily die in one location where you think that Sansevierias would grow. So it's also species dependent, so you have to try do a trial and error, especially if you're dealing with a lot of rarer species. So I guess this is it for this content, folks. So if you have any questions or suggestions, feel free to like and subscribe to the channel, and I hope you all have a great day. Thank you for watching.